It's a fairy tale. When he held the Bible and was being sworn in as deputy minister in 2011, no one ever thought Edgar Lungu would one day rule Zambia. Although he was one of a few people that had fought and sacrificed for the Patriotic Front in its early formative years, he was not among the prominent and very visible members whom many could have predicted as successor to President Sata. The rise to power of Edgar Lungu is a story most people may love to hear. Today, many are wondering how it all happened and who Edgar Lungu is. Edgar Lungu was born on 11th November 1956 at Ndola Central Hospital. He grew up on the coal belt in Kitwe's Chimwemwe Township. Edgar did his secondary school at Mukuba before proceeding to the University of Zambia, where he did his law degree. He graduated as one of the best law students from Unza on October 17, 1981, and later proceeded to Law Practice Institute in 1982, where he got his law practicing certificate in 1983. During the year 1982, Edgar Lungu worked as a lawyer with various institutions, among them the Ministry of Justice, Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines, ZCCM, and Barclays Bank Limited, before eventually getting law practice certificate in 1983. He also had a stint at the Military Training Academy, Militaires, in Kabwe. Edgar Lungu practiced law at Andre Masie and Company, a firm based in Lusaka, before joining politics. His public political life started in the United Party for National Development, UPND, under the late Anderson Mazoka. But Edgar was soon to join the then newly formed Patriotic Front, which was founded by veteran politician Michael Chilufya Sata. He was among the first few PF parliamentary candidates for the 2001 general elections. He contested the elections in Chawama and lost to Geoffrey Samkonga of the FDD. But this did not put Edgar off. He stuck with the Patriotic Front, believing and defending its ideology and policies until the party formed government in 2011. He was a loyal party member and one of the lawyers that helped the late President Sata on various legal matters. When it comes to government positions, Edgar Lungu has not always been a cabinet minister or a person with an influential position. After the Patriotic Front managed to remove the MD from power through a popular vote, Edgar Lungu started off in the first PF government in 2011 as a deputy minister in the office of the vice president. But it was not long before President Sata recognized his abilities and elevated him to the position of full cabinet minister at the Ministry of Home Affairs. Here he demonstrated level-headedness and a willingness to dialogue on critical and contentious issues such as the Public Order Act.
Law is a living organism. It's dynamic and it has to change with the time. So I would like to subscribe to the view that even this Public Order Act has need for dynamism. But this dynamism will not come from me alone. But me, I'm the custodian of this law at the moment. I will apply it as it is. Okay? And that is the sad part of the law. You apply the law as it is. If you're not satisfied, you have the right to move the process to have the law amended. And this is what I did on 26th of October when I said, look, gentlemen, honorable members, this law is what we have. And if you're not happy with it, make submissions, we'll take them on board, go to cabinet, get approval, and present it as an amendment to the law.
His appointment was just but a start of his rise in public and political life. In 2013, Edgar Lungu was appointed Minister of Defense, giving him the responsibility of protecting the country against local and foreign aggression. But the best for Edgar was yet to come. In 2014, when President Sata dismissed former Justice Minister Winter Kabimba from office, he appointed Mr. Lungu to take over as Justice Minister, as well as Secretary General of the PF. This effectively made Mr. Lungu one of Zambia's powerful and influential men, overseeing both the defense and justice systems of the country. Added to that, he was Secretary General of the governing party, Member of Parliament for Chawama, as well as the chairperson for the party disciplinary committee. All these tags did not change the way Mr. Lungu looks at life. He maintained his firm belief and trust in other people working around him.
The ministry runs through departments and heads of departments and so on. Then there is a permanent secretary. Then in some ministries you have a deputy minister. And if you make use of all these people, and if their competence is equal to the task, you can't fail. Ministry of Defense, there is the Army. It's got a very competent Army commander, General Mihova. The Air Force has got a competent Air Commander. The National Service has got a very competent general. Now, it only becomes a problem, Mr. Zulu, if you want to take everything on board as minister. You get involved in procurement, for example. You get involved in administration. You get involved in human resource recruitment and so on. Then you bog down. For me, at Ministry of Justice, I was just assuring my colleague and friend and compatriot, one Keith Mukata. He's a lawyer, renowned lawyer, equal to the task, deputy minister. Why should I fail? I was just there to direct policy, interrogate the various departments and ensure that they do the right thing and speak to the agenda of the party in implementing this policy so that we deliver that which we promise the people.
April 2013, when President Sata left the country for a visit to China, he decided to appoint Edgar Lungu to act as president, a symbol many viewed as a vote of confidence in his work ethic and ability to handle complex national affairs. This was a trend repeated several times when the president left the country on official duties. The same happened when President Sata left to seek medical treatment in London, where he died on October 28, 2014. Although Edgar was acting as president after the demise of President Sata, he handed over power to Dr. Guy Scott to take over as acting president in line with the Zambian constitution. This was despite the fact that the law in question, providing for the vice president to take over instruments of power, was under intense debate, with some quarters believing Edgar Lungu should have held on to instruments of power. During his period as acting president, Edgar Lungu was able to oversee important national events, such as Zambia's Jubilee celebrations on October 24, 2014 at Hero Stadium. His disposition and the way he handled his duties as acting president could have endeared him to the masses and made him win public confidence. To many in the party and beyond, the fact that he was acting president when the late President Sata died, coupled with the fact that he was given several sensitive ministries to handle, meant that Edgar was the anointed one. Close associates and those that have worked with him speak of Edgar as a humble person with a focused mind. Despite the confidence deposited in him by the late President Sata and the seeming popularity enjoyed among Zambians, Edgar Lungu's rise to the position of Republican president was not an easy one. It was a rough journey lined with acrimony from within the party. After the death of President Michael Sata, the PF plunged into internal wrangles. The key questions were whether to allow the party central committee to install the late President Sata's successor or to have an open election at a general conference. Two factions emerged in the party, with one seeking the central committee to elect the PF presidential candidate and another pushing for a general conference. By then, majority of central committee members and members of parliament had already endorsed Edgar Lungu as sole candidate for the party. 8 other candidates emerged as contenders to the PF presidency, among them Sports Minister Chimbaka Mwili, former First Lady Christine Kaseba, Material Member of Parliament Mao Sampa, and Commerce Minister Robert Chinga. Others were Agriculture Minister Wilbur Simusa, former Defense Minister Geoffrey Mwamba, and former Foreign Affairs Minister Given Lubinda. President Sata's son Mlenga was one of the candidates but withdrew before the polls. After fierce battles in the ruling party, 2 parallel general conferences were held in Kabwe. Edgar Lungu emerged victorious and was able to file in his nominations at the Supreme Court before acting Chief Justice Lombechibe Sakunda to participate in the 2015 presidential election. Multitudes of supporters, friends and sympathizers flocked to the Supreme Court to witness the filing in of nominations by Mr. Lungu. But for some time, it was thought that not even the General Conference could heal the wounds that had emerged before the filing in of nominations, and some party members sought the intervention of the courts of law to help resolve the wrangles. It took a reconciliation brokered by the church to help cover the divisions that had rocked the ruling party. Again, Edgar was magnanimous in extending a hand of friendship to the aggrieved parties.
In this, there is no loser or victor. The party and the people of Zambia are the winners. I'm saying so mindful that the healing process takes long. There will be backlashes here and there because some people are getting benefits from the differences which we are obtaining in our party. They drew a lot of either financial capital or political mileage, whatever, but now that is behind us.
With the internal war put to rest, it was time for Edgar Lungu to focus on the race to State House. The filing in of nominations signaled the start of a whirlwind campaign that saw Edgar Lungu touch over 50 districts and all the 10 provinces in just about 28 days. At the campaigns he addressed across the country, His message was anchored on continuity, unity and prosperity. He had turned his humility into a message for campaigns. His pledge was to become a people's servant and listen to their needs. His pledge, too, was to continue with the PF developmental projects that have seen unprecedented road construction projects and infrastructure expansion in various sectors that include education and health.
The PF manifesto and to complete the PF vision as enshrined in the manifesto 2011 to 20. In short, all what Michael Junior stood for will be completed now and 2016. New areas of development beyond 2016.
With the help of his campaign team, he managed to work against time, overcome his competitors in the race to plot one and emerge victorious. Today he walks to State House. It was not an easy walk, but a rough and bumpy journey, albeit very short. It took his predecessor, Michael Chilufya-Sata, 10 years to become president. It has taken Edgar only 3 years from the time he got into government to become head of state. He had not planned to be president in so short a period, but nature destined him to rule the country.